Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn a new concept, fractional number. When you look at this figure, what you feel? The first figure when you see, you can make out that this figure is a circle. And also the number what we can see here, this is a whole number. What if we divide this circle into two parts? How can we read this? We can say when we divide this circle into two parts, we can read it as half, where we have divided this circle into equal two parts. What if we divide this circle into four parts? So here you can see the shaded part which we are considering, which is 1 by 4. The shaded part what we have here is a quarter part of that whole. In the same way, in the next figure, when you look at, here we have three parts shaded in this circle. So we can make out that 3/4 of the whole is shaded. So what these numbers called as? These are called as fractional numbers. So what is meant by fractional number? A fraction is a number that describes a relationship between a part and a whole number. The part what we see in this figure where we have 1 by 2. Here when you look at this 2, this 2 is called as denominator, where it represents the whole, and the number what you can see here 1, it represents numerator, where you can see a part of a whole. So the numerator is the number of parts we have and the denominator is the total parts in a whole. Example I'll show you. We have this figure where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rectangles. And if you observe this figure, you can make out that out of 5 boxes, 3 are shaded. So how can we represent this figure in fractional number? We can represent by writing 3 by 5. Here we are considering the shaded parts. So here we are representing 5 as denominator and 3 as numerator. As I said before, denominator means whole number, like total number what we have, total parts in a whole, and out of those parts, how many are shaded? Those will be considered as numerator. Now example, in the same figure, if we are representing it in the fractional number using unshaded figure, there also we can write like out of 5, unshaded parts are 2. If we are taking unshaded part, we can represent this figure in fractional number as 2 by 5. Here 2 are unshaded. When we consider shaded part, we can write 3 by 5. A fraction is a part of a whole, where how I told you in the beginning, the same figure we have here also 1 by 2, where 2 parts are there. Out of 2 parts, 1 is shaded. The same way we have 4 parts in the next figure. Out of 4 parts, 3 are shaded. Then we have 3 out of 3, 2 are shaded. And then we have out of 8, 3 are shaded. Here we have considered shaded parts. If we are taking unshaded part, same way we can represent. Like example, I'll show you for this figure where it is 3 by 8 for shaded part. Now if I consider unshaded part, I can write like out of 8 parts, unshaded are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 are unshaded. This is how we write when we consider unshaded parts. So these are called as fractions. A fraction is a number which describes the relationship between a part and a whole, where we can represent part as numerator and whole number as denominator. And in this fractional number, we have different types. Like we have proper fraction and improper fractions, mixed fractions, like and unlike fractions, unit and whole fractions, and equivalent fractions. Let's see these types one by one. First, let's go with the improper fraction. Improper fraction is a fraction where the numerator has a larger value than the denominator, or it shares the same denominator. So here we can see in this example, as we have understood, this is called numerator and this is called denominator. Now in improper fraction, we always look into the numerator. The numerator value should be more than the denominator, or it can be equal to denominator. So we can represent improper fraction as numerator greater than or equal to denominator. This is called improper fraction. When we talk about proper fraction is when the numerator is smaller than or equal to the denominator. So here when you consider, here I have given you mixed fraction. Out of mixed fraction, I will consider only the fractional part where you can see the numerator is less than denominator, where 4 is less than 11. So this is called proper fraction, where numerator is less than or equal to denominator. This is called fraction, proper fraction. Now here, how can we convert improper fraction to mixed fraction? Now we know that improper fraction will be having numerator greater than or equal to denominator. Now how can we convert this improper fraction into mixed fraction? Now when we have like 11 by 4 example, I'll take the same example what I showed you for improper fraction. This is nothing but 11 is divided by 4. So when we divide 11 in 4, whatever number we get, quotient or remainder, using those we will be representing this, the number what we get as quotient and remainder, as well as divisor. We use those number to represent improper fraction into mixed fraction. I'll show you how. Now one more example I have given here, 7 by 3. 7 divided by 3. This 7 by 3 is nothing but 7 divided by 3. So when you divide 7 in 3, then you get 2 as quotient, 1 as remainder, and 3 as we know this is divisor. So when we are converting this into mixed fraction, we need to have remainder. Then only we can convert improper fraction into mixed fraction. Let's see how. The quotient what we have always will be the answer when we divide any number. So quotient we consider as whole number, and then remainder will be considering as numerator, and the divisor what we have here will go to denominator. This is how we convert improper fraction into mixed fraction. So 2 as whole number, which is a quotient, 1 is a remainder which will be in the numerator, and divisor will be considered as denominator. Now what if we have mixed fraction and we need to convert this mixed fraction into improper fraction? Now as we know that mixed fraction will be having one whole number and one fractional number. So if we have mixed fraction, we will be having whole number or fractional number, where we have to multiply this whole number with the denominator 4, and then we have to add the product what we get with numerator, which is 3 here. Now 4 into 2 we are multiplying, where we get 8 as answer. The product of 4 into 2 is 8, and we are adding that with numerator 3. Then we got 11. Now what about denominator? When we are converting mixed fraction into improper fraction, whatever denominator we have in mixed fraction will be followed the same till the last. Like here we have denominator as 4, so we write denominator as 4 till we get the final answer. Clear? Now let's look into the next type of fractional number, which is like and unlike fraction. In like fraction, the denominator of the fractions are same. As you know that denominator are these should be same in like fraction. Don't look at the numerator. Numerator can be any other number, but denominator should be having the same number. When we talk about unlike fractions, where we can find the denominators of the given fraction should be different. You can see here, only look into this denominator. They should be different for unlike fraction. Don't worry about the numerator. It can be same or different, but we are only considering denominator in this like and unlike fraction. Like fractions will be having same denominator and unlike fractions will be having different denominator. I have given you some example here with shaded figure. As we have understood, out of 4 we have 1 shaded, so the fractional number will be written as 1 by 4. Same way 2 by 4 and 3 by 4. Now when you observe this, you can see they have same denominators, so we consider that as like fraction. All these 3 fractional numbers are like fraction. For unlike fraction, when you observe here the shaded figure, we have written in fractional number, and when you observe the denominator for these numbers, you can see that all denominators are different. So they have different denominator, which is called as unlike fractions. Now the next type of fractional number what we are going to discuss is unit fractions and whole fractions. In unit fraction, as you all know, unit means 1. So in unit fractions, the numerator of the fraction is 1. Whenever you have numerator as 1, all those fractional number will be called as unit fractions. And whole number, as we all know that whole number will be having only one number, right? And if we are adding and subtracting the fractional number, we can't add one whole number with one fractional number. So because of that, we have to represent whole number, whole fractions, whole number into fractional number. So in that way, we can consider 1 as denominator. The whole number, if we have 5, then this whole number will be written as whole fraction by adding denominator as 1. So here we are using the whole number with the denominator 1, which shows the whole fractions. This is called whole fraction. Here example I have given you for unit fraction with the shaded figure. Out of 4 we have 1 shaded, and when we have numerator as 1, that fractional number will be considered as unit fraction. The whole number, we can write whole number as 4, and if we have to represent this whole number in fractional number, which is called whole fraction, then we have to add 1 to the denominator. This is called whole fractions. Now next we are going to discuss about equivalent fraction. What is meant by equivalent fraction? So equivalent fractions, nothing but it shows the same amount, but they will be having different numerator and denominator. Example, as I told you before, in circle, if we divide the circle into 2 or oval shape, whichever shape we have, when we are dividing it into 2, we represent that as 1 by 2, where it is showing out of 2 parts, 1 is taken, or if it is shaded, we can consider as shaded or unshaded anyway. So we represent this as 1 by 2, but out of this half part, when we are dividing it further, there will be no change in the value, but the numbers of numerator and denominator will change. That is called equivalent fraction, because when we are converting this 2 by 4 into lowest term, that time the final answer what we get, it should be 1 by 2. Let's see, how can we convert this 2 by 4 into lowest term? We have to see the numerator and denominator, whether these two numbers are divisible by any one number, one multiplication table. When you look at 2 by 4, we can see both are divisible by 2, which is 2 ones are and 2 twos are. Here we again got 1 by 2. This is how equivalent fraction work. So I'll show you one more example where we are finding equivalent fraction for 1 by 2. So whenever we are finding equivalent fraction, we always multiply this numerator and denominator with the same number to get equivalent fraction. Here you can see 1, when we multiply with 2, we get 2 as numerator, and the same number we have to multiply with denominator also, where we got 2 by 4. So we can say 2 by 4 is equivalent fraction for 1 by 2. Same way, when we keep on multiplying denominator and numerator with the same number, then we will find equivalent fraction. You can take any number. It's not necessary to take only two numbers. We can consider 3 as we can multiply denominator and numerator with 3, and whatever number we get, that will be the equivalent fraction for previous fractional number. I hope you are clear. And here, if we have to check whether the given fractional numbers are equivalent or no, there is one method to find for this, which is called cross product method. It's very easy. When we have two fractional numbers, like example 3 by 4 and 6 by 8. So we have to find out whether these two fractional numbers are equivalent fraction or no. So for finding whether they are equivalent fraction or no, we have to use cross product method, where we are multiplying this first fractional number numerator with the next fractional number denominator, and this vice versa. Then we have got 3 into 8, 6 into 4. The product of 3 into 8 is 24, and the product of 6 into 4 is 24. So here we got the same number. If we are getting same number, we can say that 3 by 4 and 6 by 8, these are equivalent fraction. Now in case we have some other fractional number, let's take it as 3 by 7 and 7 by 11. So let's see whether these two fractional numbers are equivalent or no. So again we'll use the same method, cross product method, where we are multiplying 3 and 11 and then 7 and 7. Numerator with denominator and denominator with numerator. So 7 into 7, then 3 into 11. We got product for these. 7 into 7, 49, and 3 into 11 is 33. So these two are not equal. If they are not equal, if their products are not equal, then we can say that these two fractional number 3 by 7 and 7 by 11 are not equivalent fractional numbers. Clear? I hope you are clear with it. If you like the video, don't forget to share and subscribe. Thank you.